The kettlebell snatch can be a tough one to explain verbally because it's hard to see in action. It's a very explosive movement, and that's what's important to remember when you're performing that exercise. It's two different motions put into one, but it happens so quickly, those two things blend together and it turns into one exercise on its own, which we call the snatch. So before we learn a kettlebell snatch, we first need to understand what a high pull is. A high pull is this. It's a tight grip on the bell where my elbow reaches over top of the shoulder. The bell is directed forward and I push the bell back into my hike. That repeated motion of ripping the elbow over the shoulder, pushing it back to your hike is a high pull. If we combine that with something that looks like an overhead press, those two come together to perform a snatch. But while you're doing an overhead snatch, it shouldn't look like you're doing a high pull. It shouldn't look like you're doing an overhead press. The two come together to make the snatch. So, when we start, we want to have that bell in front because we first need to hike the bell to generate force to get it completely overhead. We want to have a tighter grip to start. However, as I reach the limit of where that high pull would be, I'm going to start to open up my wrist and immediately punch my hand to the ceiling. This is almost like a violent movement. You can't slow this or really control it too much. So from the side, think pull, immediately punch through, where your ear and your arm are parallel, arm is locked. Looks something like this. It happens so quickly, it's hard to slow it down to show the smaller steps, but remember, high pull, punch through consecutively. It should happen fluidly, where you can't tell the difference. It shouldn't look like a pull and then a push. Those two movements, we could tell the difference. Whereas here, one transitions right into the other. I have a loose grip at the top. That's going to allow that bell to roll into place. Bringing the bell back down, we want to control it to start and then let gravity take it through. I typically don't want to just drop the bell from the top. If you're not ready, that can put a lot of strain on your back. So from the top position, think pull with the elbow. I'm going to lead that bell with my elbow, and then it goes. This one takes a lot of practice, so if you don't get it at first, don't get discouraged. Work on your high pull first. You have to have a good high pull before you're ready to move into the overhead snatch, as it is an advanced movement. Come back to the video as much as needed. Practice. Good luck.